Hello, and welcome everyone. Now, today we are going to take our first step in understanding our non-verbal cues, body language. Absolutely. So, we are going to discuss the role body language plays. There are three distinctive roles that body language plays in our lives, and we are going to discuss them in detail. So, I hope you're ready with your pen and paper. I hope you're gonna write down a lot of notes, and also you're gonna put that in the comment section about your learning for today. Let's not wait anymore. Let's begin. So, you ready? Here we go. Now, body language. There are a lot of things, a lot of studies which have been done on body language, right? And the funny part is most of us are excellent in reading the body language of others. Well, if not excellent, at least we are somewhat accurate. But when it comes to our own, we don't pay too much attention to it. Right? Here's an example. Okay, if you look at this slide, let me dissect this slide. If you look at the first picture and you look at this lady, what would you tell me? Do you think she's sad or she's happy and carefree? Type it in the comment section. Okay, tell me, do you think she is looking sad or do you think she's looking happy and carefree? Right? What about the second one, the lady with two hands on her heart? Do you think she's about to get angry or she is about to be very, very happy, perhaps cry, being so happy, right? What about this one? Is she trying to stop you or she's trying to say, come on over? What about this one? Is she trying to say, please talk loudly, or she's trying to say, shh, be quiet? Now, whenever you look at these images, there's a certain message that you are able to understand, and that message is being conveyed to you through their body language, through their expressions, through their non-verbal cues, and we are able to understand that. That is what the funny part about body language is, that we know it, yet we do not know how to effectively use it. So what we are going to do today, ladies and gentlemen, is we are going to learn and understand the role body language plays in our lives. Like we mentioned when we started this video, that there are three distinctive roles that body language plays. Okay? Now, let me ask you this. Why do we cry at movies? I mean, you know that all of that is not real. You know that they are paid to cry. But why do we cry? Is it because of the dialogues or music or just their expressions? There is no music right now. There are no dialogues here, but yet you're able to feel her emotions. And why is that? How is it that she's able to convey her sadness without saying a word? How about this one? You had a very successful presentation at work and you're about to get that deal which you always thought of. And because of that, your boss announces everybody in the office is going to get 1 lakh bonus this year. Everybody. Now, if you look at them, you'll be able to understand as to why they're dancing like crazy. You will too, and so will I. But none of them have said a word, and yet you're able to understand and see their happiness. And while in the last slide, you saw the sadness. So what are we truly trying to say here? I'm trying to tell you the role of body language. When it supports to what you're saying, you magnify the meaning of what you're trying to say. Let me put it this way. If you look at this slide again and you see them dancing, okay? If you see them dancing, think about it for a second, okay? You look at them and you see them dancing, not even for a second you'll think that they are sad or gloomy or they're not happy, okay? The reason why we do that is because when we look at the body language and it makes sense in terms of what they are feeling inside that they're able to exhibit, it makes total sense. But imagine if one of them do not dance and just sit in the corner and say, yeah, whatever, it's okay. You would not be able to believe that he is happy, even if I say, yeah, I'm very happy. Congratulations, everybody. I'm very happy. But because he's not able to use his body language, non-verbal cues effectively, you would not trust him. So when your non-verbal cues and your verbal cues, non-verbal cues and your verbal language come together, only then it supports, and then you make a very powerful statement. Okay, that is when you are able to communicate effectively and powerfully. Understand this very clearly. You all know this. If your friend comes over and you share your success story and he is not happy, even though he tells you with his words that he is happy, and you look at him and his body language and you know deep inside that he is not happy. The only reason why you get to know is because of non-verbal cues. You look at them and you understand. But if he is truly happy, he'll be able to communicate with non-verbal cues louder than the verbal cues. So even if he says yay and hugs you and jump up and tells you a few things, and you see the excitement in his eyes, you see the excitement in his body, you will be able to understand that he is genuine. So if you can do it, all right, you in normal situation do is imagine what happens when you go for an interview. Imagine what happens when you're in a meeting. Imagine what happens when you're meeting new people. That is the reason why, ladies and gentlemen. So when your body language supports to what you're saying, you magnify the meaning of what you're trying to say, and it gives a powerhouse performance, even at workplace, be it in interviews or even when you're meeting someone new. But if it does not support, then what happens? Can we find out if the body language is not supporting to what they're saying? Of course we can. Okay? Of course we can. As we can find out the handshake when people will meet you and see you, you'll be able to understand when you have a conflict. How? Well, let's look at this. Okay? So we have discussed the first one. Let's see what happens when it contradicts. Okay? So I want you to pay attention to this short video. They look so happy hugging each other, right? Absolutely not, right? But such is life sometimes. Okay? So what happens when there is contradiction within your body language and what you're saying? Well, it shows. It reflects. It reflects in your actions. So two things body language we have discussed so far. When it supports, it magnifies the meaning. But when it contradicts, you also get to know that that is not real. Think about it for a second. And we've all had this kind of an experience, isn't it? When our body language does not support to what you're saying. And that usually happens when you are lying. Okay? You know usually what happens, ladies and gentlemen. Whenever you're talking to someone, they listen to you in three ways. Number one, they listen to your words. Then they listen to the tone behind your words. And then number three, which is the most important one, your gestures. Your gestures are a part of your non-verbal communication. How you stand, or how you leaning towards, towards one leg. The way you would make your expressions, all of this are a part of your non-verbal cues. So what happens when you say something and even though you don't mean it, your tone will reflect it. Okay, that's the reason why sometimes we get into an argument with people when we say, I never meant it to hurt you, but it got there where it hurt you. This is what it is, because they are listening to the tone and above all, gestures. I mean, hasn't it happened that you have shared something very positive news about yourself or about your promotion probably, and there are some people who are not happy? How do you know they're not happy? Even if they say, well, we are very happy and we are very proud of you. Absolutely. The gestures. So you may listen to it like that, I'll hear the words first, then the tone, and then the gestures. In reality, you know what happens? You will notice the gestures first, and then the tone, and then comes words. That is the reason why, when I said in the beginning, your body language, which is your non-verbal cues, which constitutes of your gestures, expressions, all of these, your eye contact, all of this, they talk louder than your words, isn't it? That's when you know whether or not the person is lying or whether he's telling the truth. How? Because you listen in the opposite way. You see the gestures first, then you listen to the tone, and then finally the words. Then comes the third part, which is substitute. Now, what do I mean by substitute? Well, this happens when instead of saying words, you decide to use your non-verbal communication, like this girl. Instead of saying a yes, you just nod. Or, in case of saying a no, you shake your head. Trouble is, when we sway our heads, that's very typical of us Indians. By the way, we also communicate through through other ways too, like, when we smile, when we hear something nice, or laugh, or cry, or look bored, or interested, all without saying a word. It's really fascinating sometimes to observe body language and then realize how beautifully and skillfully we have been created. Let me also show you another sign of a powerful body language. So, what we have learned so far, I hope it made sense to you, and I'm also hoping that you're taking down notes. So what we have understood about body language is very important. What I want you to do before you move on to the next section, I want you to type in what you have learned from this section. Okay, so type in what you have learned, and in detail. I don't want you to just write in awesome. Not like one or two words. I want you to completely elaborate as to what you have understood about the role of the body language. Now, towards the end, if you remember, because we just watched it, the video that we just played is a very powerful one. It should tell you that the more positive you are, the better your body language is going to be. And positivity spreads. It's very contagious. But so is the negative body language. That's one of the reasons why we want to associate ourselves with positive people, because when we are with positive mindset and positive body language people, it brings the best out of us. So keep that in mind next time when you observe your own words and the way you are standing sometimes. But how do you stand and how do you use your body language effectively? For that, we'll have to move to the next section. And the next section, we learn how to master our body language. I'll see you there. But before we go, make sure you type in your notes. Type in your notes. Thank you.